They've changed popular culture and continue to challenge conventional thinking. We meet the faces of the future.
Being young means to change the world,
help the environment,
hopes and dreams for the future.
And hear from their leaders.
Our future is already here.
As we search for the spirit of youth. Well, some people claim that youth is wasted on the young. Others claim that youth are our brightest hope for the future. Well, over the course of this programme, we're going to take a look at what it means to be young in 2008, and we're going to meet the leaders dedicated to making sure this generation gets the best possible start in life. The young have always been in the vanguard of social and political change. None more so than in the 1960s, when the legendary Jimi Hendrix took to the stage at the Woodstock Festival. It changed forever the role that music played in our lives. The event was the prime example of the youth-inspired counterculture that dominated a decade. While the hippie movement was about tuning in and dropping out, in France, students were helping to bring the government to its knees. The social impact of May 1968 is still felt in France today, where liberal morality remains a dominant cultural philosophy. In 1989, young activists in China brought the world's attention to their pro-democracy protests. The impact of Tiananmen Square and subsequent government crackdown remains undiminished. Cut to today, and it's scenes like these in the Middle East that dominate the news headlines. It's a situation the region's leaders are desperate to address.
Every day, another child in my region grows up with frustration and hatred in his or her eyes. Every day, another child grows up with aggression because that is all they've known. Every day, young people lose hope because they cannot get jobs and they cannot see opportunities. Hemmed in as it is by some of the world's bloodiest conflicts, Jordan has long played a pivotal role in the struggle for power in the Middle East. This is a country with a young king and queen and an even younger population. 3/4 of the people here are under the age of 30. Queen Rania is unarguably beautiful. Married at 22, she became the Queen of Jordan before reaching her 30th birthday.
Exactly.
Composed and passionate, for many people she symbolises everything good that youth stands for. And today she's a fierce advocate for young people in the region and around the world. We met at Her Majesty's private office in Amman, where she spends hours working just like the rest of us. Young people couldn't ask for a better ambassador.
Our future is already here, and we have a collective responsibility to make sure that we provide our young people with the environment that can bring out the best in them. And increasingly, I hope that people really understand and start to think of our youth as active agents as opposed to just persons in the making. And to do that, we really have to educate them, engage them and empower them in the decision-making process.
Your Majesty, you talk about the hope gap, and you also talk about the region's youth as a politically transformative force. Will you just expand on those two?
To make sure that our kids in the region are on equal par in terms of their opportunities for the future. It is all about providing the opportunity, a sense of hope for the future generation. Because I believe that if the future generation grows up without that sense of hope, then we are looking at a very grave and very dangerous situation. And that's what I mean about them being a politically transformative force, because You know, we have so many unresolved issues in our region. And there's going to be a tipping point when all these young people become adults. And when they become adults, if they're not equipped with the right kind of education, with the right kind of opportunity, then this is what's going to make or break our region. All of us think back and remember certain situations that happened in school. We remember a teacher that inspired us. We remember an event that we participated in that really sort of shaped our personalities. So, you know, there's not so much you can do sometimes about different disparity in terms of background or financial status, but I feel that education can be the real equalizer among people.
I've come across over the years, you know, during my visits, I've come across a lot of broken windows, leaky roofs.
I accompanied Queen Rania to one of the schools that's part of one of her projects. Run down and with poor facilities, the hope is that it will eventually look like this. Education is clearly important to the students. They've come in during the holidays to help and catch a glimpse of their glamorous queen.
Okay, sure.
Her Majesty's here to meet the architect overseeing the project. Khalid Nahas sums up perfectly what it's all about.
Education, you know, if that's the first thing that anyone has to know to make a career or to make a life for themselves. I mean, we're fortunate to get good education. Today I'm an architect because of education, because of the exposure. And it's something I wish for everyone, you know, to find their calling through education, or that's where it begins.
Abdullah is 15 and dreams of being an engineer. He understands the true value of education.
How good is it for the school that she's involved in a project like this?
Of course, it's very good because the students make a good feel. They will feel good.
Is it the first time you met Queen Rania?
Yes.
And what did you think?
A great thing for me. I met Queen Rania.
And thanks to the royal-backed Madrasati scheme, the kids here know their hopes for the future are looking brighter. We're going to hear more from Queen Rania later in the programme as she explains what she's doing on YouTube.
No matter how many negative stereotypes there are, your eyes can open people's minds. Get clicking, pointing, editing and mixing.